been to some fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Oh, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 down. Sympathy.
Evening, guys. We're going to talk about the game on Sunday, yesterday afternoon. It was quite a bizarre game. Let's be got it right. But before we get into that, I welcome my guests on. Dal, how are you doing, my friend?
Excellent, Jezza. I'm buzzing. 3-1. We got the win. We're like 2 points behind City. Happy Monday. I got the day off of work. Little whiskey, little Sprite. Cheers to the chat. Cheers to you, Jez. Big up, TJ. Thanks for having me on.
Always, man. Always. You know you're always welcome. Carl Ross says, oh, yeah. Oh, sit down. Yeah, that was the iconic song that was sung at Highbury back in the late 90s. And it's still, I think, a great anthem for Arsenal. It's certainly better than the shit show one we've got nowadays, which I think is actually a disgrace. But there we go. TJ, man, how you doing? I believe you had a great weekend away, getting tasting on the whiskies.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, as the Instagram chat knows, I just needed a break. I needed a break. So, the wife was nice enough to schedule a nice little getaway over the Labor Day weekend. And we did that. I'm rested. I'm buzzing. I'm ready to go. And, it's the only thing that could have made it better was an Arsenal win. And we got that too. So, big up the chat, big up yourself, Jez. And obviously my co-host and American idiot with the most, Dal. Let's get into it, man. I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. Big up the chat. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to start it off. It wasn't a great start. It was a bit of a ball fest.
Yeah.
Let's get it right. The first 65 minutes. There was some poor play from both teams. Two iconic teams of English football, once that achieved greatness. Right now, I would say Arsenal are just a little bit above Man United. I mean, they looked bloody awful. Arsenal weren't much better. But, Dal, I'm going to come to you with this one, mate.
Sure.
It makes a problem when Arsenal start with 10 men. Because I'm sorry, that Liar Havertz is bloody pony. Come on, people. A 10-year-old could have scored that goal, but it was on his feet and he totally air shot it. That, Dal says to me, man, that guy's lost all his confidence. And maybe we've seen it. We've seen it in the past. Some players come in from Europe,
right,
from Liga, the Bundesliga, Ligue 1, and they just can't hack it in the Premier League. Maybe that's the case. What's your view?
Well, I agree right at the end of what you said there, Jay. I think there's hundreds, if not thousands of players that have come and go in the Premier League in the last 20, 25 years that can't, cut the mustard. And Kai Havertz looks like one of them. Granted, you could have put that in the goal. TJ could have put that in the goal. For God's sakes, probably Carl Rossi could have put that in the goal. We don't know how athletically capable he is, but he's our guy, of course. Shit, Jez. He just missed it. I don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt anymore. He is complete fucking pony, Jez. He really is. He's just a passenger. Like, how many times did we see him put our defense under pressure in the back corner, right? On the left-hand side, he'd get the ball. he'd look forward, he'd notice Odegaard or somebody was behind him, and he would pass it back to just bring the United players closer to us on our box. So defensively, he's a complete dunce. He misses, some of the easy passes he needs to make just isn't happening, which breaks down all the build-up. A lot of the passing was lateral, backwards. It's sort of like the early Xhaka, right? Xhaka in the beginning wasn't going up the pitch much. He was laterally passing back, playing the most comfortable pass he could. So Shai Havertz is doing what he's doing a Rob Holding. He's just happy to be here because he knew he wasn't going to get any games at Chelsea. And I know people keep saying, give him time, give him time. We saw him 3 to 4 years at Chelsea, and we've already seen him 4 games plus the preseason games, which he excelled in. I thought in the preseason we said, okay, he's not what we want. He's not our best midfield choice. But in preseason, he actually looked okay. And I thought, well, maybe we give him the benefit of the doubt. I think you gave him 10 games. I gave him 5 to 7 games. I think TJ may have given him 5, 6 games. But here we are in 4 games, and we're already just like, nah. And the treatment he's giving Trossard and Errol Smith-Rowe, the way Arteta's treating them and giving this pony German bastard time, I'm not trying to be offensive, but it's like, don't let the reputation overshadow the ability, right? I mean, if the fans can see it, Arteta can see it. We all can see it. He's just not good enough. And ESR would have been the perfect player for that game yesterday. He would have ripped apart that midfield and defense yesterday. So Arteta's really dropping the ball in Havertz. It may be the reason why we don't win the league if he plays him too much. But you're right, Jez. He's just not cut out for Arsenal. He's just not Arsenal quality.
No, he's not. Carl Rossi, absolute legend in the chat as always. Was already excited for Solo Jez stream, but DVS and TJ, what a welcome surprise! Be excited, people. Yeah, see, I like to be sneaky. Sometimes I like to keep things undercover. I normally would pop people's names in the chat, but I thought tonight I'll just keep you simmering, thinking it's just going to be me. But then I sneak in with these 2 guys.
The idiots.
Yeah, the idiots are here.
I don't like that term. I don't like it. And
American legends.
Yeah, that's more like it. You're not idiot. You're
the best, Joseph.
I mean, you know your stuff. So I don't like that idiot.
Some people would say.
I
I don't know all this stuff, man. I don't know it all.
I don't relate to it. Sorry.
Okay. TJ, name change 2.0.
Oh, gosh.
Class. TJ, mate, I'll ask you the same thing. I mean, I'm sorry. I just think when we've got Havertz there, we're starting the game right now as we are with 10 men.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work. The guy, I think, is so lacking in his confidence that he panics. And we all know what people do when they panic. They cock up, right? He's a professional footballer. He's on 300,000 bags a week. And he can't even slot one from 5 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm 62, man. I could have slotted that. Yeah, and I have to tell you, I was shit at football as a kid and as an adult. That's why I became a referee. Because I was crap. Mate, give me your opinion, TJ.
Well, I am out of shape, 34-year-old with a fake hip who never played football, and I probably could have slotted that home. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you would.
It was absolutely abysmal, that performance. So, you have a team, Arsenal Football Club, with everybody aside of Saka on that team, on that pitch, other than Saka and Havertz, earned a 7 or above yesterday. Everybody else came to play except those 2. And I'll get into Saka here in a minute, but we have to talk about Kai Havertz. We have to keep talking about Kai Havertz until he is benched. I don't care how much this individual is getting paid. He is a detriment to the team. And you know how bad it is, Jez? You know how bad it is, chap? He is making Fabio Vieira look world class
Right.
when he comes on.
That's a stretch.
Fabio Vieira. Think about that, chat. Think about that. Fabio Vieira should be starting over Kai Havertz. And you can't even think, and I would love to say the same thing about ESR, but we haven't seen ESR. Is ESR even alive? Does everybody know if ESR is even?
Chelsea thinks he is.
Okay. So you got to put Fabio Vieira. I can't believe I'm saying this. You got to put Fabio Vieira or ESR in there and then have Havertz come off the bench and build his confidence. If there is anything.
Trossard's the man.
Or Trossard. But I think Trossard still needs to be there as an impact sub for Martinelli, but difference of opinion. It's one of those things where everybody sees it now. And Arteta is seeing it because he addressed it in that press conference with that weird quote about how it took him forever to lock his wife down. And now he has to watch. Yeah, see, it was weird. It was really weird. And I'm just kind of like, there are several other metaphors that you probably could have used to establish how you're trying to build confidence in a footballer. But we move. I'm not going to be that open about my personal life. Either way, we all know what needs to happen here. The Kai Havertz babysitters, the Kai Havertz, it's only 3 or 4 games. You got to give him time. We don't have time.
No,
we don't have time, everybody. Sorry to say it. We have a resurgent Spurs in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, fam. Yeah, you know where it's at. Flames fan Ben. I don't agree with your hockey team, but we move. No, we have 2 weeks until we have the noisy neighbors down the street coming into town. Are we going to be ready? Not with him in the squad.
Oh,
thing is, sorry, Dan, I'll come back to you. The thing is, TJ, we know, right? He will play him, and I've said this before, right? And I actually have knowledge of the fact that when we had Willian in that team, right, and a lot of people diss me for it, but I actually know fact. He had a clause. He had to play start a certain amount of games.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be at all surprised if this is the case with Laya Havertz. And that, I'm sorry, I've said this before, right? Any negotiator that with an agent or a club, it's more likely the agent that says, well, if you want this player, you've got to play a certain amount of games. That's bullshit, man. If you're the buyer, you set the terms. That is what you do in business. You set the terms of what you buy. If you go out to buy a car, right, and the salesman says, oh, well, you've got to have this, you've got to have that. You say, well, actually, I don't want that. Yeah? I don't want that. On the car. No, I don't see the point. I don't want to buy it. Now, that is how you negotiate. Arsenal, I don't think, I'm going to come to you, Del, on this. I don't think Arsenal have the ability or the depth of knowledge to actually negotiate decent deals. We can't sell players for decent money. We buy them overpriced, and then we let them go for shit. Now, I made a wrong statement the other night when I said how much we paid for Rob Holding. I was getting confused with another player. We bought him for, I think, 2 to 3 million. We sold him for 4. So, okay, we made a little bit of a profit. But we've let, I did a show, Dal, right? Yeah. We've let Tierney go, right? Timber got injured. Partey got injured on the day before deadline day, yeah? We've let go other defenders, and we haven't replaced anyone. What kind of crap situation is that? We're now weaker in depth than we were last season, and yet we're in the Champions League.
Right.
Yeah,
the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, right? I mean, shit. Yeah, I think sending Kieran Tierney out on loan was a big mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, when the number one defender we brought in gets injured the first game, why would you loan out another defender in that position? It makes no sense. I mean, like I said before in another stream, it's like, I mean, those who play FIFA don't even make decisions like that. I mean, if you, I'm talking video game decisions, Jez, right? I mean, and the stakes are much higher in real life, obviously. But I think that we never saw the Urian Timber injury happen, right, until it happened. So I don't think there was any real precedent in Arteta's head to say, oh, maybe I should pull back on doing business, because I think the business with Kieran Tierney was pretty much already done. It was just waiting to be signed, sealed, and delivered. The real Sociedad, contract could have been signed weeks ago, for all we know. And also, we've never signed an outfield player since we unveiled Declan Rice July 15th. We've got a whole 6 weeks without signing another outfield player. The only player we signed was David Raya on loan. And in my thoughts, we didn't even really need another keeper. I mean, in all reality, we didn't really need to get rid of Matt Turner. I mean, David Raya is a great keeper, don't get me wrong, but in reality, we needed a strike. We need a striker. We need another midfielder now because we just fucking blew off $65 million on dipshit, and we have 2 players that are very capable to slot in. So you ask really good questions, Jazz, that I don't have answers to, because you got to dive in Arteta's wife-chasing mind to figure out what lineups he's picking from day to day and what players he feels are fit enough and fit in his system. It's starting to look like he doesn't want anyone in the squad that he hasn't really signed, except for the obvious individuals. Any newer players, it seems, that we bought before he started are just sort of just thrown to the side. Thomas Partey being the exception, but now I'm thinking like maybe we should have sold Thomas Partey and got another defensive mid. Before I get attacked for that, if we knew he was going to be injured for 4 months, we could have made preparations. Again, 6 fucking weeks went by before the season started. Why didn't we sign a replacement for Thomas Partey when they knew he was injured and very, very injury prone? Why didn't we sign a replacement for Kieran Tierney? Well, I guess we did in Timber. But I'm confused, Jez, on what the strategy is, what players are trying to identify. I played a quick game of FIFA today that happened to be against Man United, Jez, and the Man United squad was better on FIFA than the one we faced yesterday, and we struggled against them to get goals. I'm gassed, but I'm excited about yesterday, but I'm starting to see the holes. You know what I mean? I'm starting to really see the holes in what we did yesterday. And to go back to your question, man, as a strategy for signings and who's coming in and out, Arteta doesn't even know.
No. TJ, I'll bring this up with you. I don't know if you got the chance to see the press conference, because I know you had a weekend away. It was the most benign, stupid press conference I've ever seen in my life. When a journalist says to you, right, are you going to go back to your back four, the best setup you had? And he starts talking about, well, I get up at 6 in the morning and I have to make a decision. I have to defrost my windscreen, which is probably a lie, because he's probably got a car that it automatically defrosts the windscreen, right? Yeah. He's not driving around the bloody Mini. He's probably I know he's driving around the big Mercedes car thing, right? Well, I have to make a decision because I might have to go down the A21, or I might have to go on the M25, then the Finchley Road. I need to be there for 7. If it's a school drop, then I have to do what? Fucking idiot! Question like that. And then yesterday, after the post-match game, he's talking about, well, I couldn't conquer my wife. I had to do this. I had to do that. I mean, the man's brain dead. Who gives a shit about how he conquered his wife? I mean, no man. Let's get it right down, TJ. Right? No man ever conquers a woman. I can tell you that. from 38 years of marriage.
Because we're married.
I just celebrated my 18th a few weeks ago, Jez. You're
Right.
right. There's no conquering. TJ's been married now for I don't know.
I'm coming up in a year. I don't think I've conquered
Sure.
anything.
You never will.
That's very true.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Mama Flossie's in the chat, and I know she'll agree with me. Men might be bigger, stronger physically, right? Yeah, and this is true. I'm telling you, mentally, they will always win. Always. And they are stronger in their outlook, they're stronger in their opinions. And at the end of the day, because women have that hold over you, right? You'll never win. And this idiot, right, is talking about in a post-match press conference about how he tried to conquer his wife. He's a clown, man. Absolute clown. Come on, TJ, tell me, man. Give me some, make sense.
It just shows. Well, I think there's a language barrier issue there. I'm not making excuses for him.
He's been in England a long time, DJ.
Use a different metaphor. Like I said a little bit earlier. I mean, you're trying to get confidence out of a guy that you're paying 300 bags a week, and you have to make stupid comparisons or stupid metaphors as an excuse for how bad he's playing and your constant decisions to keep playing him. I mean, he doesn't, at the end of the day, and I saw this in the chat, at the end of the day, he doesn't respect the press. He doesn't respect anybody showing him any sort of negativity or criticism. He's going to do it his way or the highway until he drives this club into the ground. And I'm not necessarily saying he's doing that right now. I mean, we're 3-1-0, but he's going to continue to not reach the heights that a certain legends in this fan base are expecting. I'm expecting it. Dow's expecting it. I'm not calling myself a legend. I just agree with you guys. Jez is expecting it. Lee's expecting it. Troops is expecting it. All of these loud people that have supported this fan base since they kicked the slats out of their cradle are expecting this club to excel. So anybody that shows him any sort of criticism or any sort of, punching comment, he's going to try to blow him off, or he's going to try to say something ridiculous to try to lighten the load. What I want to know is in those 42, what do you say, 42 different formations of defense against Fulham, which one of those 42 did we concede the corner against a 10-man Fulham to draw at home against Fulham? Which one of those? Can you at least say you're not going to do that one again? Because after Thomas Partey got injured, he was forced to do what everybody had been asking for. And look what happened. We won. And we won convincingly once we decided we were going to play 10 actual football or 11 actual footballers in the 77th minute. I mean, make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. I don't mean to keep going on this Kai Havertz thing, but every single time we sub him off, it's a spark. It doesn't matter who we bring on.
True.
It doesn't matter who we bring on. It's an absolute spark. I mean, freaking Eddie Nketiah. Oh, my God. He's playing better than this guy. And Eddie Nketiah, I don't think was that good yesterday. But he's better than him. So it is what it is, Jez. The manager is trying to deflect any sort of criticism. The long and the short of it is that. And as long as he keeps winning and as long as he delivers the results, nobody at the top is going to have anything to say about it. So when we start getting into the business end of the season, Jez, like the Carabao Cup, like the FA Cup, like the Champions League, like keeping up with Man City, which I don't think we're going to do, he better start providing some real answers. Otherwise, this fan base is going to get real loud real quick.
I totally agree with you. And I think you'll find, and it won't be long, from people that I talk to that still go, people I used to go to games with for 40 odd years, still go. Yeah, because they live there. The rumours are there. The rumblings are like, come on, what's going down? So we'll move it on, right? TJ, I'll come to you and I'm going to go to Dow, right?
Okay.
Martinelli's corners have been pretty bloody cracked of late.
Yeah.
What's going down? I mean, they're short, going nowhere. And I see now there's this little dinky thing between him and Odegaard.
Yep.
Right? I mean, okay, I've seen that. That was something that George Graham brought in back in '91 when we went and won the league. Fair play, it works. I'm not criticising it, right? But I'm sorry, Martinelli, you've been bloody crap lately at your corners, and you need to work it out. What do you think?
I think it's another managerial instruction with how he's doing. I mean, Martinelli is a class player. He's being instructed to put the ball where he is putting it. Obviously, we've had a couple of mishits. I just really don't think that our set piece situation is cutting the mustard. Obviously, we got a late one with Declan Rice, and that was a skide over to him. You know, he puts it away, delirium after that. But I agree with you, Jez. Like Martinelli and Saka in general have left a little bit to be desired. When it comes to putting up the points, but contributing to goals. I really don't think we're the team that's gonna get set pieces like headers in the box. Like we've shown that we really aren't that team so far. Obviously, we haven't had Gabriel in there because if somebody's gonna score from a header in the box, it's usually Gabriel. But he hasn't been played, so we haven't been seeing it. But I think Martinelli, going back to Martinelli and what you're saying, I think Martinelli and Saka really have, like, obviously Martinelli was a spark club yesterday, or a plug yesterday, but we really need to see more out of these guys before we start hitting some of the really, really big teams. You could argue Man United is a big team, but on the form that they're on, they're really not, and I think they're probably dead food. But one guy I wanted to get on, and I'm not trying to get completely off of your question, Jez, is Saka. We need to tie Saka. If you noticed, he really didn't have that good of a game. I was going to give him a 5 or a 6. I think that we've ran him into the ground a little bit. Teams are starting to figure out how Arteta is playing him. You know who I was impressed with, who came on, speaking of subbing off Martinelli, was Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson came on. I forgot Reece Nelson played for Arsenal.
Yeah.
We hadn't even seen this guy for a while. And he comes on, and he was a spark plug down the left side. Not his natural position, by the way. And he was pressing. He was pressing the ball. He's a speed demon down the left side. He provided that spark that we needed. I really think we need to start rotating a little bit. Maybe Everton is a good opportunity to do that. Not to take Everton seriously, but yeah, exactly. Andrew's saying it. Saka just looks a little bit burnt out or a little bit figured out. Martinelli needs to shore up a little bit, get some class back into his game, and we just need to start taking these guys a little bit more seriously, I think. And obviously, yeah. And Static, I knew Ed Nelson was injured, but the way that Saka's been getting played in this team, you wouldn't think we had a backup right wing. We don't really, other than Nelson. But we're gonna. My concern is the same concern I've had before, and the same concern that everybody else has, is that Saka is going to get run into the ground, and he's getting a little bit down. So rest him, give him a little respite, maybe bring him off the bench against Everton, and see what happens. But yeah, I think the wings in general need to improve. Long answer to a short question.
No. I was going to come to that. You've answered it exactly as I thought. It would be answered. Mm-hmm. Carl says, Jez, what we sipping tonight? It's a little what is it? It's South Shiraz from Australia. Mixing it up. I like to mix it up. It's all different. Dow.
Sir.
Dow. I mean, I want to ask you this one.
Sure.
Do you think the Havertz thing was a penalty? I don't.
I think it probably was, but if I was the ref, I would have given it 2 because to me, you have 2 defenders pushing in on a player and the ball's in front of them. They didn't touch the ball. They didn't do anything with the ball. They made light contact with Havertz. We saw their hands pull away, but their bodies still touched them. And I think Havertz did the right thing to fall over. I mean, he had 2 defenders on him. He was sandwiched between 2 defenders. That to me looks like a penalty. They didn't touch the ball, Jez. They didn't kick the ball out. They didn't kick the ball to the side. He kicked the ball forward and kept running, and they collided into him lightly, right? Their hands were up at that last second. Whoever I forget the defender who was, put their hands up. But I can see why he gave it. You know, from that back view, it looks like he's getting crunched in the box.
The way I saw it, okay.
Right. Sure.
The first point of contact wasn't a point of contact.
Mm.
Havertz then knocks the ball forwards. He loses control. The second contact is where he goes down.
Okay.
So to me, if I'm looking at it from a referee's point of vision, I'd say no penalty. And I can hear and see and think what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But VAR are going to look at that and say never a penalty because the first point of contact, he never actually made contact with him. It was the second one that took him down.
After he lost possession.
Man, this guy can't even dive well. Like, come on.
Well, no, okay. You've been a referee, Jez. I never have been, right? So I think looking at it again, I can see where you're coming from, but I also thought that he lost control at point of contact because it looked like he pushed the ball through and tried to squeeze himself through there, but couldn't because he got touched by the first defender and the second defender came right in, a half a second too, and crunched him. But they didn't really crunch him, right? Their hands were up. They may have touched their chest may have touched his side or something, or there was no foot or leg contact. We know that, right? They didn't kick the foot out under him. He didn't really trip on his own legs. I think so. In retrospect, I think what you're saying is probably true in what happened. But as a referee, if I'm looking from that, from outside the 18-yard box, that's a penalty all day. Because they didn't touch the ball. If the defenders would have nicked the ball or touched the ball, first before the contact was made, then I'd say, okay, yeah, that is not a penalty. But they did not touch the ball. And they did make contact with the player.
The second player made contact.
The second one should have been a penalty.
No, a penalty can only be given, right, in the laws of the game. A penalty can only be given by the initial contact. Once the player loses control of the ball, if he gets taken down, right, if that ball's gone the yard,
right.
It's nothing.
Right.
I think that's why VAR made that decision. And I personally, come on, guys, I'm a biased as shit. It's Arsenal.
Sure. Yeah, me too. I thought I was screaming pen at the television.
I was until I watched it, and I watched it back, and I went, "Oh no, I don't think that's a pen."
Really?
DJ, what's your view, man?
I was screaming penalty at the TV as well, but as soon as VAR went back and NBC on this side of the pond went back and looked at it, yeah, it wasn't a pen. That was why I was saying, this guy can't even dive well. He barely got clipped or while he was running made contact. Nah, it wasn't a pen. I was disappointed, but it was at the same time. Yeah, it wasn't a pen, but Garnacho was offside. So you want to talk about that crap? That's all I'm saying is that yes, you're right. It wasn't a pen. You're right. But Garnacho was offside. I don't want to hear it from any Man United fans. And I know I'm going to hear it all week. So I'm looking at you right now. That was offside. So,
TJ, before VAR, that goal stands.
Oh, 100%. But what is VAR here for? And if you look,
Stop Garnacho from scoring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, and if you look, Gabrielle did the little Michael Jackson move.
He did.
You know, went straight as a board to make sure that he was offside. And that was Gabrielle.
Right.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Bozo Gene that time.
Bozo Gene. There was no Bozo Gene there. That was like Harvard IQ genius level footballing IQ, man. Like that was unbelievable. Yeah, no, I would. And I thought, yeah, and I'm telling you guys, as you guys were in the chat with me in the Instagram, I was screaming like, "Oh man, we're done! Oh my gosh!" But no, they made the right call, and you got Ten Hag over there, thinking that he's God's gift to refereeing, saying, "Oh well, there should have been 2 penalties there and offside." You guys were pony. You guys were bad. They were bad. They were bad. And he didn't want to admit it, so they're going to make all sorts of excuses. But yeah, Garnacho was offsides, and it wasn't a pen. Wasn't a pen.
We're going to come on to the that one in a minute about the offside. Longhead Yeti's cave. Take your Arsenal shade glasses off. Never a pen, mate. I'm biased. Come on, what do you think I'm going to do? I mean, what do
the Lee reacts.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect?
Shut up,
big up to the Yeti. Anybody hasn't liked, subbed, go to the Longhead Yeti's cave channel, top fella. There's all kinds of stuff on there. He does gaming, he does football chats. He's been on my show. He's a great guy. And apparently apparently I saw yesterday he's now bought he's going to live in his room with a freeze box, so he doesn't have to go downstairs to his fridge. And somebody then said, "Well, why don't you just go live in the fridge?" Good point, man. Carl Walton says no Peno got gents.
Yeah. We agree. I agree.
I don't think it was. Anthony Herbert, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you for a while. Question: do you think Ramsdale had a good game? That's a good point, actually. Dow, do you think Ramsdale had a good game? Do you think he's getting a little bit slack? I think he is.
That's a really good question. Shout out Anthony Herbert.
Big up, Anthony.
I think there's some ego there. I thought he was decent yesterday. I gave him a 6 if we're going to do ratings. I gave him a 6. I wasn't overly impressed. I think his command of the box needs to be improved. I think his communication needs to improve. And I'm never, ever, ever a fan of passing the ball laterally through the box, trying to open up space. I mean, I get it. We're moving the ball from the back to the build-up. I mean, I get the strategy. We all get the strategy. But you're flirting with disaster when you do that. And Ramsdale just doesn't have the feet. I mean, he's a very, very good keeper. But he's not great, right? He's not Courtois. He's not Donnarumma. He's not, in his past names that we've had with Mad Jens and Seaman and so forth. But he still bleeds the red and white, and I don't really see yet a reason to really replace him. To be honest, Anthony, I know Raya's got his coach at Arsenal, and he's handpicked from Arteta, and he has better stats overall. But I don't know when a good Premier League game is to throw Raya in. Maybe some Carabao Cup games, definitely in the group stage and Champions League. But I don't think Ramsdale has really deserved the poll yet. It could be better. It could be better, though, too. I thought, again, I gave him a 6 for yesterday. I thought he was above average. His distribution was off a bit, but I still don't think he's deserved a spot to get yanked just yet.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm just going to highlight this comment. Show this one. Tony Neri, member for 13 months. Man, thanks. I think you're one of my longest members. Fair play to you. Thank you, man. Thanks for being a member. And let's just show. Carl says, Jez, as a ref, would you have Havertz or sent him off for cheating? I'd have booked him for diving. Absolutely. No question about that. That's yeah. Paul Summerfield says, Everton away, next banana skin. Absolutely. Yeah. We haven't won there for 7 years.
Wow.
That's a shit show, isn't it? That's a shit.
Yeah, that's pathetic.
I mean, considering what state that club's in, I mean, come on, people. CM O'Connor, notice how we dominated the game when we play a normal back four. All the Arsenal fans could see it, bar Arteta. Now, that leads me on. That leads me on, TJ. Right? Nice little lead in.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think he has to keep tinkering? I mean, my belief, and I'm not trying to sway you in your belief, it's your opinion, right?
Mhm.
I don't think he knows his best 11.
I think that he is trying to shoehorn in Havertz, and he's trying to get a tune out of him, and that's why we were playing a back three, essentially a back three up until this last match. And big up Connor for that comment. I don't think we dominated that game. Were we better than them? Yes, we were, but we didn't dominate. Using the word dominate, we dominated extra time. That's what we dominated. That was it. Or injury time. That's what we dominated. Playing the back four, you could obviously see there was more stability. But I don't think it's that Arteta doesn't know his starting 11. He just knows that his starting 11 has to include Kai Havertz, which is brutal. And it's going to be tough for us to watch because guess what? Spoiler alert, when we go away from Everton, Havertz is going to start. So, and if it wasn't for the Partey injury, you guys would still be seeing the same, Partey White, Partey White, Saliba, Zinchenko, probably back four, or Tomiyasu, right? It was forced on him due to the Partey injury. Was I happy to see it? Yes. Was I sad to see Partey out? Also, yes. But I think it literally is just depending on him. Arteta wants Havertz in there because he thinks that Partey, Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz have to be in the 11. The rest can kind of rotate around, and that's why Gabriel is suffering from this. But then you see Gabriel yesterday; he put in a great game. So hopefully he knows. Okay, well, we need to sacrifice Havertz, maybe have him come off the bench and play just our midfield of Odegaard, Rice, and honestly, Fabio Vieira or ESR or Trossard. Somebody else needs to get in there, but it won't. So he knows the starting. He knows the starting 11. It just unfortunately includes Kai Havertz, and it's going to continue to be that way until Havertz runs out of chances, which I don't know when that is. I
agree with you. I totally agree with that. I just want to. Statics made a great comment. Jez, as a referee, I was. Was that a red card to the player that fouled Nketiah? I thought he was the last defender. Not in that position of the field, unfortunately, where he did foul him. Right, but that is not a red card in that position because there was a defender directly over to the other side, and that he's not the last defender. So you won't get a red card for that.
Because if he was the last defender in that part of he didn't deny an obvious scoring chance, right? Is that why?
It has to be an obvious scoring opportunity.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think he was away, but yeah, no, it was. That was brutal. That was borderline. That was borderline intent to injure. Borderline. Wasn't quite there.
Yeah, I'll give you that, but it's not a last call defender.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's not.
I agree. But I'm real.
You're a
but I'm real. You're fake, but I'm real.
Yeah.
Get out of here, you fucking jackass.
They're all in this little group, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, Adam.
Adam Palmer.
Adam, when you can tell me how many games you've been to in your lifetime, which is probably none, then I would listen to you. But unfortunately, you're probably about 12, 13. Spotted like a little twat that lives in his mum's back bedroom and go out and get yourself a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
Incel.
Yesterday, I ain't got the time to listen to little wankers like you. Sorry, but there you go.
Facts.
Static says, Jez, sorry, was got it. No, mate. I love the questions. Stephanie, how are you doing? Steph is in the
There you
chat.
go.
Good to see
Big
you.
up, Steph. Party
I
girl.
hope you're well, nice to see you. I see you occasionally on Facebook. Good to see you. You have to blame Steffi partly for me starting a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Right.
She was one of the ones that it kept saying, Jez, do your own channel. Jez, do your own channel. Jez, do your own channel. And I did. So blame Steffi partly and blame other league gunner, Kenny Ken, because it's all their fault. Not my fault. Not my fault. There you go.
Guy's got a YouTube channel 2 years and blames everybody else.
And Static says that Mama Flossie, hey, well done. And Kyle Hayward 17. God, how many?
It's like 17 trillion.
Yeah. He loves it, doesn't he? He's just relentless. He's just relentless, that fella. I honestly think he's in love with me. Carl says, Steffi, big up Steffi. Yeah, I honestly think he's in love with me, that guy. I mean, apparently, big warning. He's out there getting all our IP addresses.
Oh boy.
Right. Dow, he's coming out to see you. I mean,
I hope so.
I'm sure you're shitting yourself, aren't you?
I am. I got a couple of friends named Smith and Wesson.
Yeah.
How about that, Pete?
He's a clown.
Law in Oregon.
The funny thing is, a month ago,
Don't come with that crap to the United States. Just saying.
He was begging my friend. He was like, "Oh look, Jez, I was misled. I was deluded. I got it wrong. I'm sorry." This, and I'm like, "Yeah, righto." Like I'm going to believe anything you say, you muppet. And like, then the other day, Arsenal's my life. I have to believe anything that says Arteta, he's going to win everything. Right. Get off what you're smoking or you're taking, fella, because you're a clown. Carl says, I'm heading to Burgundy, Jez, for a wine buying trip next month, mate. I'll send some pics. Mate, I'm there next month in Burgundy. We're going to our little place. So if you're around, give me a call. If we're nearby, we'll meet up. Drew Gullens, thanks, Steffi. Right, before we wrap this up.
Yep.
Okay. We talked about I find this fascinating, guys. Right. We saw Arsenal 1-1. Fans leaving. Sky TV shows running down the road with 50. Well, no, I lie. With about 8-9 minutes of injury time. I mean, look, let's get it right. Going to a match day now, right? If you've got a season ticket, you've paid a couple of grand, right? You've paid also to travel. You've bought a couple of beers. You've had something to eat. You bought a match day program. Rip off. Waste of time, right? So it's a big day out. Why the bloody hell do you leave the grounds before the end of the game? And then you see these arse wipes, right, running back. They hear the crowd. They hear the crowd go mental because Rice just scored to put Arsenal 2-1 up. I mean, I have never, ever in my life ever done that.
Me neither, Jez. I've been to, I've never been to Arsenal, but I'm going next year. Plans are in place. We'll talk about that offline. But I've been to Blazer games, professional baseball games. I would never leave. I don't understand. Just totally interrupted my train of thought. Good for you, Adam. You big stud.
Fair play, son.
I just totally lost my train of thought. No, when I get a chance to get to North London, there's no freaking way I'm leaving my seat till that whistle's blown, until every fan is gone. I mean, every game to me is an event, right? It's an event.
Yep.
You go and have fun. You stay till the end. I don't get it, Jez, and I don't know how those people can really call themselves, gooners, right? I mean, the idea is to stay to the end, drink with your friends, dance, sing, live life, live the experience. That's what I want to go there for. My wife has an old coworker who went. Unfortunately, she fucking went to old Shite Fart Lane because of her boyfriend. This is several years ago. But she said it was like one of the biggest greatest experiences of her life. The singing, the crowd, the songs, just, not even knowing about the game, but just the event itself. And those people are lucky, man. I would literally give my left pinky to be able to go to just about every Arsenal game. Maybe my left hand. I don't know. That's a little bit far. But, I just feel like you'd be such a lucky guy to have tickets to go see them every day, even though they're not playing the best or we've got some players we don't like. I still stand behind the club, and I'm there to watch the club, watch the people and the people involved with the club. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I feel bad for those fans, and they're just donkeys for running back, but it is what it is, man.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree.
Can I say something on this?
Jump in, man. Go on, jump in.
There are fans internationally that watched that and would have murdered and buried bodies to be at a Man United Arsenal game at the Emirates.
Yeah.
I personally lost my mind at an MLS All-Star game cheering for these guys. Like, the amount of people take that experience for granted. And we weren't even losing.
Right.
We were drawing against Man United, one of our biggest rivals, and these clowns leave. They might as well have been wearing the big shoes and the clown nose on their way out. And then you see some of them, they hear the crowd and they go running back. You see them literally turn around. The helicopter camera, you literally see them turn around and go, yeah. You're like, you guys, these people should be put on wanted posters for absolute thievery, clownery, whatever you want to call it. Absolute frauds as fans. Absolute frauds as fans. When you have people like me and people like Dow who literally aspire to make it out and have that kind of experience. And these guys, these tubs of lard, are literally walking to get to the tube 5 minutes early because they don't want to wait. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And we get called fake fans. All right.
Touche.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, this is what annoys me intensely. This whole nonsensical comment about overseas fans aren't real fans. That's bollocks. Absolute bollocks. 4 or 5 years ago, when I was at the Emirates, I met a guy. He was Canadian, actually, and he spent shed loads of money. He had a season ticket, right? And he could afford to fly over. He obviously had money.
Yeah.
He could afford to fly over once a month, right, throughout the season to a home game.
Wow.
Yeah? Fair play to him. And I said to him, and he said when he was in the lower west at the Emirates. I met him in a pub, actually, and he said to me, he's in his Arsenal shirt, right? And he was getting abuse. He said he had abuse from some fans that, well, you're not a real Arsenal because you don't live in England. And I was like, how dare you say that? How fucking dare you say that? This guy spends more money than you guys do to come to a game. This guy is flying 10 hours or 8 hours, whatever it is, from wherever he was in Canada, hotel for a couple of nights, and then flying home. And the narrative doesn't work. If you love the club, then fair play. And look, it doesn't matter where you are around the world. You know, I mean, a couple of years ago, I was in New Zealand visiting my son, and I had an Arsenal shirt on. Yeah, I was in a pub on my own, minding my own business. This guy walked up to me and said, "Oh, you're an Arsenal fan?" And I went, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "So am I." And I went, "Oh, nice to meet you." Shook hands. We had a beer together, and he went, "I'd love to go to see Arsenal." And I went, "Fair play to you, son." You know, it doesn't matter where you are. If you love the club, you love the club. And there are some people that will spend shed loads of money to do that.
Yep.
And I have to put my hands out and say, "Fuck, fair play to you."
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
I drug my wife to Washington, D.C., which is halfway across the United States from where I live, right? And there are people in the crowd watching an MLS All-Star preseason game. That means nothing, right? In the long scheme of things, it means nothing. But you have American supporter groups that are literally full of fans that we packed out that stadium. It was an Arsenal home game. Right. And you see when these boys are coming out onto the pitch, tears in people's eyes. That is how much this club means to people over here and means to people around the world. So yeah, I'll put my stump away now. But man, let me tell you, there are a lot of people over there that take this club for granted. And it really is sad. And I'm glad that every single one of them didn't get to see that goal live. I'm glad. Because, man, let me tell you what. I woke up the sleepy bed and breakfast that I was sleeping in when I watched that, when I saw that. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm done now.
The thing is, you went to watch, you spent a shed load of bucks, right, to go to watch the MLS against the Arsenal. Fair play. Respect you for that, right? That makes you no less a fan than me, right? I was lucky, right? I grew up there, and I could watch every game, go to every game, home and away. I did for bloody years, right? Sometimes I shouldn't have gone because for financial reasons, put the family under trouble. I was selfish, and I do regret it. But the fact that somebody loves the badge, loves the club, you do it. And you know, you guys one day, I'm sure, will come over and come to the ground, and I'll be more than proud to meet up with you, to show you around the area. You'd have like Kenny Kenwood, he'd be there, and a lot of other top legends.
Incredible.
And I don't get this sort of thing that people have to make themselves out to be bigger than better than anybody else. Certain YouTube channels make themselves out, oh, well, we're bigger and better than anybody else. No, you're not. No, you're bloody not. You're just an everyday Arsenal fan. Just because you've got a big YouTube channel or you've got 50,000 people following you or whatever, doesn't make you bigger or better than anyone else. So you do not have the right to put it on somebody else, right? And tell them how to support the club. That's bollocks. Yeah. And this is what winds me up with some of this fan base. And before we wind it up, what annoys me intently is when I see these fans walking out of the ground 10 minutes before the end of the game, when they've spent a shed load of money probably, but they're struggling to find in their family life. Money that they've saved up for, and you know, they've got to travel, all this, all that. I know how much it costs. I've done it for way too long. It put me in trouble at times. And you know, when your kids are growing up and you're like, Well, no. I want to go and see Man United away. I want to go and see Newcastle away. This, that, and the other. Right? That causes major problems in a family. When you haven't got a lot of money, yeah, you've got bills to pay, you've got this, mortgages, and all that bollocks, right? It puts dramas, it puts stress on your family. And these people that walk out 10 minutes before the end of the game because they want to get a tube home, that to me is absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. That says to me, you don't really care about the club because all you want to do is have the match day out and fuck off home, get home early. No. Never. Anyway, guys, let's round it up.
Cool.
I'm getting annoyed.
Well said, Jez. Well said.
No, well said, Jez. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
Dal.
Yes, sir.
What you shout out when we can find you? What you got coming up? I know you'll be on Friday night. I'm sure.
Yep.
With TJ, of course.
Friday with the guy TJ right down below here. Friday night, 9 p.m. UK, the American Idiot Show. Check us out on YouTube. You can find me at Oregon Goon on YouTube and Infamous Dal on Instagram. And thanks again, Jez, for having me on. Great show today. I'm still gassed about the win. It wasn't pretty, but we got the 3 points, and we move on. So thanks again, Jez.
Always, man. You're always welcome. Always. I've known you for a long time now.
Yep.
From Lee's channel. So there's a relationship and respect.
Absolutely. Same here, buddy.
TJ, man, what you got coming up?
Oh, well, there will probably be a midweek show sometime with me and Connor. I might do some FIFA streaming this afternoon or tonight after Tony's show. I know Tony's going live later, and I might just hop on, and if anybody wants to chat shit to me, feel free to. I'm happy to do it. So I might do that. So just if you're subscribed to TJ Warren TV, hit the notification bell. You'll see when I go live. If you're not subscribed to TJ Warren TV, why not? Why not? Come on over. Hit the subscribe button, and you'll get to see the American Idiot Show every Friday night at 9 p.m. UK time.
The American Legends Show. Sorry, Jez.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry, Jez. Jez, it's the brand now. We got to keep pushing the brand now.
Yeah.
We're 25 episodes, 26 episodes in now.
26 this Friday.
Jeez, 26 this Friday. Oh my gosh! And then we got another huge guest coming in 2 weeks. Like it's
huge
insane.
guest. Massive
Yeah.
guest.
So it's one of those things where we always have Jez on. We always have a legendary guest on like Flawless, like Jez, like
Diesel.
like Diesel, like Kyle Connor, Del Boy. Like, yeah, we got the legends coming in all the time. So make sure that you are subscribing to TJ Warren TV. And again, if you want to blame somebody for TJ Warren TV, blame Jez. He made me do this. He made me have the channel, spin the channel up about 6 months ago now. We're coming up on 6 months. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. And again, thanks, Jez, for having me on. Legend.
Mate, you're always welcome. You know that. And I seem to get the blame for everything now.
You and Steffi are getting the blame.
Yeah.
Steffi, you can blame Steffi for me.
Oh.
No, bless her, bless Steffi. She actually gave me so much encouragement to set this up, and it was the one you have to blame really is Gracie May. Gracie May set the channel up. Bless her. Love her to death. And anyway, guys, we're out of here. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash the likes up. If you're new, sub. And it's been a great chat. It's been gone totally off target, as it normally does. Because I had other things to talk about, which I haven't, but never mind. It's the way it goes. But everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks if you're new for subbing. And we'll do the outro. And guys, we're out of here. Go and watch TJ Warren. Go and subscribe. I beg your pardon. Go and subscribe to Dal. And people, we're out of here.